Hey Pally, today is March 28th, 2019, and INFocus starts right now. Welcome to INFocus. I'm Sarah Nash. There's a lot going on around campus, so here are some important announcements from today's campus bulletin. The annual Stanford Pre-Medical Conference is approaching and is a great opportunity for students interested in medicine to interact with physicians and physicians in training. The 2019 iteration will feature the theme Medicine in the World, exploring such topics as global health and medical humanities. SPC 2019 will take place on Saturday, April 13th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pally's science publication known as Veritas are accepting writing submissions to feature in their next issue. No journalism experience is required and all students are welcome. To sign up, visit the link on the screen. ASB elections for next year's members are now open for all underclassmen. Polls close on Friday at 3:40 p.m. Fill out a ballot on the link on the screen or visit Schoology. WIAF is holding a meeting this Friday, March 29th in Room 18 for those who are interested. And Service Day is happening on Monday, April 22nd, and students will be excused from class to go out and volunteer at sites. Key Club will also be hosting an on-campus activity during lunch on the quad. Students who would like to volunteer at an off-campus site should sign up at the link on the screen. Moving on now from what's going on around campus to what's happening in the world and locally today. Let's take a look at what's topping today's headlines in today's News Minute. President Trump has called on Russia to pull its troops from Venezuela and warned all options were open to making that happen. The arrival of 2 Russian Air Force planes carrying nearly 100 Russian troops outside Caracas on Saturday has escalated the political crisis in Venezuela. Russia and China have backed President Nicolas Maduro, while the United States and most Western countries support opposition leader Juan Guaido. In January, Guaido invoked the Constitution to declare himself interim president, arguing Maduro's 2018 re-election was illegitimate. The U.S. government says the Russian troops include special forces and cybersecurity personnel. Maduro also said a high-profile Venezuelan-Russian intergovernmental meeting will be held in April, adding the sides plan to sign nearly 20 agreements in the spheres of economy, energy, trade, and education. Well, Boeing previewed its software fix, cockpit alerts, and additional pilot training for its 737 MAX planes yesterday, saying the changes improve the safety of the aircraft, which has been involved in 2 deadly crashes since October. Mike Sinnett, Boeing vice president, said in a statement yesterday that, quote, "We're working with customers and regulators around the world to restore faith in our industry and also to reaffirm our commitment to safety and to earning the trust for the flying public," end quote. By the end of this week, Boeing plans to send the software updates and plan for enhanced pilot training to the Federal Aviation Administration for certification approval. The FAA's approval process has raised questions in the industry and was the subject of a Senate hearing yesterday afternoon. Industry officials believe it could take the FAA up to 2 weeks to certify the changes. Well, now let's check out to see how Pally sports are doing. Girls varsity softball lost 15-4 versus Cupertino. Varsity baseball won 4-1 at Los Gatos. JV baseball also won 4-3 versus Los Gatos. And boys varsity volleyball won 3-0 versus ECP. Now on to today's games. Boys JV lacrosse plays at Los Gatos at 5:15. Varsity plays right after at Los Gatos at 7. Boys JV tennis plays at 3:45 at Wilcox. Varsity plays at home versus Wilcox at 4. And there's a huge swim meet here at Pally at 3:30 versus Los Altos. The boys sophomore team plays as well as varsity and girls varsity. JV badminton plays at Cupertino at 3:45 and varsity plays at Cupertino at 3:45 as well. Now let's see what happened today in history. Well, in this day in history, back in 1979, the worst accident in the history of the U.S. nuclear power industry began when a pressure valve in the Unit 2 reactor at 3 Mile Island failed to close. The 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant was built in 1974 on a sandbar on Pennsylvania's Susquehanna River, just 10 miles downstream from the state capital in Harrisburg. At 4 a.m. that day, cooling water contaminated with radiation drained from the open valve into adjoining buildings, and the core began to dangerously overheat. Once word hit the public, the plant's parent company, Metropolitan Edison, downplayed the crisis and claimed that no radiation had been detected off plant grounds. But the same day, inspectors detected slightly increased levels of radiation nearby as a result of the contaminated water leak. Pennsylvania Governor Richard Thornburgh considered calling an evacuation. A few days later, on March 30th, a radiation leak was discovered and residents were advised to stay indoors. At the height of the crisis, plant workers were exposed to unhealthy levels of radiation, but no one outside 3 Mile Island had their health adversely affected by the accident. Nonetheless, the incident greatly eroded the public's faith in nuclear power, and in the 4 decades since the accident at 3 Mile Island, not a single new nuclear power plant has been ordered in the United States. Well, most of the INFocus crew, as you may know now, are in Seattle at STN and are working on one of their first competitions called the Crazy Eights. Thomas Colburn has more.
At 6 a.m., Focus crew members woke up in Seattle to begin their Crazy 8 contest at the 2019 Student Television Network Convention.
We just got the theme for our Crazy 8 where we have 8 minutes to make an 8-minute news show.
Apologize for the technical difficulties, but that does it for today's episode. Be sure to visit our website to check out old episodes, check the bulletin, or to send us an email. Until next time, have a great day, Pally.